All right, everybody, welcome to another week of Beyond Parody. My name is Dan Dillon. I am your host and co-founder of Not the Bee, and we are joined today by a special guest at Israel. The country of Israel is joining us today to discuss everything going on in the world. We also have, are you pointing? Are you doing the Brady Bunch?
I'm trying to point at Israel. There.
Hi, Robin.
It's very confusing.
Hi, Travis.
Hi,
Israel.
There.
It's going to be very controversial for Not the Bee to be featuring Israel on our show.
Will you be paying us lots of money?
We are funded by Israel, so you need to be giving us cash, Israel, throughout the entire show.
You've been talking about me a lot recently, so
yeah. Whenever we say something you agree with, just send us some cash if you don't mind. That would be
just Venmo,
slip it under.
Not the Bee.
And we are also joined by the Babylon Bees, Travis.
Hi, that's me.
It is Travis, and he only records in 720p.
Well, I changed it to 1080p just for you.
Oh, 1080p Travis. And Mr. B is our tech guru. He's here with us as usual. And we can get right into the crazy.
And me.
I said Robin.
Co-host.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
No,
you know
it's because I'm a woman. Just always forgotten.
That was sad.
Dan, Travis, Israel, do you hear something?
Yap.
No.
Robin's here, our co-host.
Hi.
Love you, Robin. You're the best. And
I
she
am
is
the best.
in Sun Valley.
In Sun Valley, Idaho, the best week of my whole year. We've been coming since 1991, and it's
Idaho.
my favorite. Idaho, but the cool part of Idaho.
That was a "that's what she said" joke that I had to let go.
I didn't know there was a good part of Idaho.
Sun Valley is
Sun
very
Valley,
much the good part of Idaho. Have you been here, Dan?
I have a lot of friends from Sun Valley that tell me how much I have to go there and play golf and be outside in the sunshine in God's country, and it's beautiful, and everybody loves it.
You gotta come. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy where I'm at right now in North Carolina, where it's also beautiful and nice. I don't have that flight from here is pretty bad to get over to Sun Valley. It's like three connections or something like that. Israel, tell us a little bit about yourself. You are a subscriber to the Babylon Bee. How long have you been listening? Tell us a little bit about what you bring to the podcast and just your history doing podcasts for our company, kind of unofficially.
Sure. I've been a subscriber to the Babylon Bee or Not the Bee for about 7 or 8 years, however long they were doing that. I'm more on Not the Bee recently. Sorry. But when you said at Israel, that's actually on the Babylon Bee and Not the Bee. That's at Israel. At Israel on Twitter is like probably the actual.
It's probably Israel.
Yeah. During COVID, that time period, those dark days when Not the Bee was getting going, Dan and I were in talks about doing a podcast of the subscribers. And he gave me graciously allowed me to be the podcast host of our unofficial Not the Bee social podcast. And what we did on there was we interviewed people from the whole Babylon Bee, Not the Bee community. Got to talk to people, especially during that time when we weren't allowed to, travel or go and see people, or, we'd get narked on or something. So we got to really get to know each other that way. And another one of my co-hosts on that show was Faithful Not Helpful, FNH, as he goes by. Mm-hmm. Great guy. And we had about 60 episodes we did for about a year and a half. The thing was that once COVID started, easing up and all the restrictions were going away, all the responsibilities that had gone away from me in my work and life, and all the children that we ended up having in the meantime. Anyway, that ended up preventing us from doing more episodes, but we had a lot of fun. We met a lot of people. We interviewed Dan. We interviewed Adam Ford, Seth, Dylan. We even interviewed Kevin Sorbo, which was probably the highlight. And we had a great time. We had a ton of inside jokes that we did. If you do become a subscriber to Not the Bee, you can find it in the podcast section. They're a treasure trove of
and they're timeless.
And fun.
Yeah,
they are timeless. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
You never
is
had
Kevin
Travis
Sorbo
on
an
there,
actual
that's the one
subscriber? Thing. Does he have an account? Is that why you were able to interview him? Or
yeah, he was, at least. I don't know if he still is. Dan might know that,
so.
but
yeah.
Yeah.
Dan, who else is a new subscriber that's has notoriety?
We have lots that have come and gone. I'm not sure exactly how active they all are, but there's several senators. You got the Cruzes of the world.
Any singers?
People from the Trump family. Any
Lizzo.
singers? Let me think
Yeah.
about. Yeah, well, definitely Lizzo.
That you emulate his voice?
Nickelback?
Scott Stapp. That's not a subscriber though. Scott Stapp actually followed me on Instagram this week, or followed us.
No,
on
did you
Instagram.
listen to our show?
I don't know. It's really funny because it was a week and a half ago that Mr. B told a story about Scott Stapp and the With Arms Wide Open Grammy, and I've been singing in Scott Stapp voice every episode for the last 3 or 4 episodes, and then all of a sudden he follows me on Instagram. I actually sent him a message because it's like, when I grew up listening to Creed, I mean, that was what was dominating the radio in late 90s, early 2000s. As a Christian, it was kind of, is this Christian rock? We don't know, but it's cool. And we have some funny stories about them. And so I actually sent him a DM on Instagram and just said, man, it's crazy, to see you following me, since I've been following you since you guys were blowing up in South Florida. And he just gave me a little heart emoji back. That's all I got. But I did interact.
Come on the show. Tell him to come on and be a guest.
I've got more followers than him on Instagram, though, so he can't act like he's the big dog.
Nice.
That's like our social credit nowadays, is how many social media followers. It's like our social score. How many are you worth? How many numbers do you have?
Yeah. But I was very that actually was very impactful to me. It's like I've seen big names pop up there. We've got Elon Musk following us. We've got, Trump's following us. We've got a lot of, we got Kevin Sorbo, for God's sake, following us. But to see Scott
Very
Stapp's name
impressive.
pop up. Travis, what's your favorite Creed song?
I don't know any.
That's not a Creed song. Israel,
Pretty
what's
good. You've never heard I don't know any?
I feel like you would like Freedom Fighter. Freedom Fighter, no remorse.
Creed
Travis
was not
on
my
a Creed
band.
horse.
It
What?
sounds
I
like I
love-
would like it.
90s rock and alt rock, but Creed was not the band I liked.
Israel, did you
I
listen
guess
to
I shouldn't
Creed?
say that if he ever comes on the show, but it wasn't my demo. It was meant for teen boys, and I was not a teen boy.
You can become one if you want.
I could become both a teen and a boy if I choose to identify as either one. I sure could.
Israel, did you have a favorite Creed song? Did you listen to Creed?
I wasn't allowed to. But are they the one? They're the ones who did the With Arms Wide Open, right?
Yeah.
That's I guess it would be that one.
Okay. You weren't allowed to listen to Creed?
No,
How
I
old
can't.
were
My
you at
fam-
the time that Creed was out?
I don't know.
8.
Probably. I'm
26.
probably. I came from a very conservative Christian family, and I was raised on Spanish music and classical music. I took that from my
Nice.
dad. So
Okay.
What about
Nice.
Salty the Singing Songbook?
I actually didn't know he was a thing until I was a B subscriber.
Go
I
ahead.
did have a Carmen tape.
That's good.
I had
Wow.
that was on my parents' shelf, and I never listened to it. But it was him standing next to a tall cat in front of like a really old car, and I said, "Carmen, who's that?" So
End of story.
end of story.
And then,
Wow.
yeah.
Dan, what's your favorite Creed song?
Oh man, my favorite Creed song. Let's think about that for a second. I don't know. They're all kind of cheesy. One Last Breath and My Sacrifice are pretty freaking baller. But there's ones that people don't really know that hit harder, and I honestly don't necessarily remember all the names of all of them. I don't know. Probably My Own Prison is actually my favorite one, if I'm being honest.
That's
This is
good. I'll go with
gripping radio.
higher.
Yeah.
This is breaking news.
This is all right. We've talked about Creed long enough. We talked about the state of Israel long enough. All right, let's talk about the news this week. So the image of the week that stands out in my mind this week is Trump on a roof, right? What was he doing
Trump
up on the
a
roof?
hot tin roof.
He's talking about redesigning the White House, and then he goes up on the roof to take a
Yeah.
gander at his empire, I guess you'd say.
He's very on hands with his projects, I guess.
hands on.
Because they are adding
Hands-on?
a 90,000 square foot ballroom. But
90,000 is the size of a Costco. Like
Yeah,
90,000 square feet is substantial.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I am a little worried about Trump's architectural choices because it's got that kind of Mar-a-Lago weird, like 90s rich aesthetic. And I am all for like more space and being able to host dignitaries in a big, big room. I'd love to go to the White House ballroom at some point if we can get tickets to something like that. I love it. But
A big, beautiful room, Robin. One that's
You do much
plated with
better.
gold.
it will
The
be.
most beautiful ballroom you've ever seen. You've seen
Yeah, I had to
ballrooms
look it up.
before. Not
I had
like
to
this
look it
one.
up again just to be sure because
Oh, yeah.
every time I say 90,000 square feet, it sounds wrong. Like surely
Sounds-
it's 9,000 or something.
Nice.
Gigantic.
No.
So here, I'll look. So we have the largest Costco either in the world or in the US, the one we go to in Salt Lake. And let me look up the square footage of that. I bet it's about the same as this new largest
Maybe the
Costco.
Maybe the ballroom
The
will actually
largest
be about
Costco is in Salt Lake City, Utah, but it's 2,3,500 square feet. So
Wow.
this is a little
That's
bit
nothing.
small. Yeah,
23,500.
100 square feet.
Wait.
It is the largest
You mean
Costco in the
225?
world.
Say it with the
5,000.
comma in there.
1,000. That's got to be.
35.
That's got to be one of the most confusing ways to measure square footage.
How many square meters is that, Robin?
I'm sorry. I looked at the number and my brain just went blank on how to say it out loud. It's 235,000.
Oh,
So we
so
got
it's bigger.
Yeah,
235,000.
Okay.
235,000 square meters.
Okay. So here's
Okay,
Trump
good.
on a roof. I'm gonna just play a short clip of Trump on the roof, which is it's actually incredible right here. I don't know if there's a slope to this roof or not, but the Secret Service made it up there with him. Here we go.
Mr. President, what are you doing up there?
Taking a little look.
Come down and talk to us. What are you building?
Are you considering?
He's letting them know the ballroom's on the other side. So he's looking at something else. I don't know what he's doing. He's just up there taking a little look. I love that.
Somebody said on X, which I think is so true. They're like, here's how the conversation went. Trump is like, hey, do we have a roof? They're like, yeah. He's like, has anybody ever gone up there? No, I want to go up there. Like that was it. That was the conversation. Like, I'm going on the roof.
Does this building have a roof?
This is, Secret Service is like, okay, it'll take like 3 months of logistics. No, I'm going right now. Just guys, follow me up. We're going. Oh, okay.
Sir, we haven't had good history with roofs. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think it's an interesting story because he just went on a roof. There's actually nothing particularly interesting about it.
There's no
but
story.
It's in all the news, which I think is hilarious.
Yep.
That's what makes it so funny.
That's true. What will he do next?
Yeah.
It is funny though, like just wandering up on the roof to take a look. What are you doing up there? Just taking a look.
I mean, he bought a car a few months ago. That was news.
Yeah.
Went up on the roof.
Uh-huh.
I was
Maybe
seeing
he'll
if
eat
any
something.
other presidents have ever been on the roof. I don't see any stories about a presidential first. He may be
Wow.
the first president.
He's the
to
first
ever
one.
go. But that's from
Oh,
Yahoo.com. So
Abe Lincoln went up on that roof. I guarantee you. He did.
He doesn't have to get up there. He could just look over the top.
Actually, I'm not sure exactly where that is. That looks like it's like the promenade or whatever. And I'm not sure that all that existed back in 1865.
That's true.
Now, Trump had another clip of the week, I would say. Our clip of the week this week is Trump. And I'm going to go ahead and share that so we can watch that and laugh at that as well. And then we can move on from Trump. You know, I think we can move on from Trump. Can we? I don't know. I think the entire news cycle is just all Trump. And today, you know what? I'm doing a little better this week, adding things to the screen as well. I'm
So the
clicking
context for this is apparently that I don't know the whole backstory, but Trump, the White House announced massive investment, or Apple is investing $600 billion in U.S. manufacturing, and some of that's coming to Utah actually. So it's cool.
It's a question for me that not related to this clip is how exactly can Apple invest $600 billion in manufacturing? I mean, I know that they are worth $1 trillion technically based upon their stock, but $600 billion is a lot of money. Like, how do you just invest that just in manufacturing, just in the United States? What's their budget?
It's over a few years. I thought I saw that.
Well, I mean, even over a few years, it's almost $1 trillion, and that's just on U.S. manufacturing. And as far as I know, the U.S. manufacturing is just the Corning glass for the watch and for the phone. It's not even like a significant portion of their manufacturing process. It's a part of it, but anyway, Tim Cook was there presenting an award to Trump, which was like a 24 karat gold statue thing. And Trump starts, he'll probably tomorrow talk crap about Tim Cook, but today he liked Tim Cook. And so this is what he had to say about him.
So true.
Ukraine, getting it settled, getting it ended, would have never started.
Wait.
If I were president, it would have never started. I want to thank Tim Cook. He's a great, great man, a visionary, a businessman, just about every quality he can have other than athleticism. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about you. You're a good athlete. I'll bet you're pretty good. I think he's good at everything, but I want to thank you very much, Tim. Congratulations.
Who says stuff like that?
That's classic Trump. That's like,
You look weak. Thank you very
Just
much.
don't mention it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, just don't.
Accept
Well,
our
touches
athleticism.
his.
I don't know. Tim Cook doesn't look that athletic to me either. But Trump says what we're all thinking. I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's what I think when I look at Tim Cook.
Tim
Not what I
Cook's in
love
the
about
corner,
him.
like stewing, like, oh, I'm good at lacrosse.
Yeah.
You idiot.
I think the way Trump lines people up in his mind based upon what he thinks their handicap would be in golf. I think that's what it comes down to. Although, you know what? Tim Cook looks like he would have it. I feel like Tim Cook looks like he would play golf. Like that's the one thing I could see Tim Cook actually doing. Or did you guys see that clip this week of the guy eating the banana with the spoon out of the banana?
No.
He could do that.
He could eat a banana with a spoon.
Yeah.
I feed my babies bananas with a spoon. Like I scrape
Well,
it off.
now I gotta look this up and I gotta share it. It went
Was
viral
it-
this week.
Robin, do you have a banana in the house right now? If so, go grab it and a spoon. Let's do it live.
I do have
Find a
one
baby
over there.
too.
All right.
Do it.
Baby's
All right,
not.
so this is all right. So I'll share this. This is a follow up to the clip of the week because I need you guys' opinions on this in the comments below. Is this a normal way? Is this an acceptable way for a human being to eat a banana? Okay.
I feel like
I'm
no.
excited.
Banana Gate 2025.
All right. Here we go. I'm gonna.
He's wearing a pink sweater. He's already probably gay. Oh, I did see this.
Oh man.
He's
This is
just
it.
spooning
This is
that
it.
banana right into his. Yeah.
I don't like he's taking it from the tip.
No.
So
Are you sure that wasn't Tim Cook?
Oh,
Actually, it looks like Tim Waltz to me. Like when I first saw it, I thought it was Tim Waltz.
really?
I only had to
If
learn.
Tim
later
Waltz
that
and
it
Tim
wasn't.
Cook had a baby, and that's apparently possible these days.
Yeah. People are upset. People are like, "Oh, you don't make fun of a man. He's just trying to eat a banana in peace." I'm like, I've literally never seen a person eat a banana like that. That's no.
There are only two types of men who wear their sweaters tied around their neck like that. One is gay men, and two are villains in 80s comedies, like rich.
That's right.
Yeah.
villains. Yeah, who wear it like, I've got a sweater around my neck.
And I
Like
mean,
that.
there are a lot of gay men out there. So the fact that somebody caught a gay man on video eating a banana, I guess, isn't that big of news. But
It just
it
all
is
sounds
still-
bad.
it is still a little weird, I would say, to eat a banana that way.
So doesn't he-
It's
interesting-
spoon for it?
Yeah, what's interesting to me is that when you set up the clip, I just thought it was going to be some TikTok person being like, "Look how I eat bananas." I didn't realize there's someone spying on someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is an interesting way to eat a banana, but I never would have been like, "I gotta film this right now."
Right.
So,
The other interesting thing is that he has a spoon that looks like it's made for eating bananas from the top down.
Grapefruit spoons are very specific and they're phenomenal. One of the best inventions of man ever. If you like grapefruit, you got to buy a grapefruit spoon. They're serrated on the edges. You can stab it and
mhm.
great.
That is a vertical entry banana eating spoon. That's what that is right there.
Which is also the
All right.
standard way to eat bananas.
Yeah. Vertical entry.
Vertical.
I've never seen somebody eating a banana horizontally, I guess. Yeah, you're right. So anyway, I'm not going to demonstrate that.
I know I tried and it was going to move on.
So once a week, we're trying to focus on media dishonesty. And Israel, we're not going to go into exact details of what you do, but you work in the media. And do you see around you the media purposefully being a little bit dishonest about how they present facts and how they present stories?
Sure. I mean, I see most of what everybody else sees. I do have a little bit more insight in the backgrounds of the media. Sometimes I say I'm just part of the fake news just for fun. But yeah, I mean, I've seen. I'll give an example real quick. I saw once I was watching this was years ago when in Trump's first administration, he was giving an update about Puerto Rico and the aid after the hurricane had come through and had destroyed everything. He was talking about the aid that was going to be going out. And what I was doing is I was actually watching the direct live satellite feed of that press conference when it was happening. And as he was talking to whoever was in the room with him, he was saying, so many billions of dollars we're going to be sending it out, all of that. Later on, it was just kind of like background noise with what I was doing. Later on in the night, there was somebody in the media, I think it was Shepard Smith. He was talking about that interview or that press conference, whatever he was giving. And he purposefully stopped the tape, if you will, at that just before he said, we're going to have all this money given to Puerto Rico. Cut the clip. And he says, the president hasn't given a dime to Puerto Rico yet.
Gosh.
And you heard the whole clip.
And I heard the whole thing, like, whoa, hold on a second.
Yeah.
The next sentence is, we haven't given any yet. Like he's literally telling what's going on. And so now that's not anything that anybody else like couldn't have seen, but I've seen other things just kind of in the background of to that nature, where there's a lot of information that news organizations and reporters and anchors and all them that they get. And a lot of times they have to fit it down into that 90-second story or package that they're going to deliver. Some facts get left out. Other times, I can't say, to their bent which way they are, if they want to purposefully do it or not. Right. But some things do get lost in the mix. And it does happen a lot of times where it seems to be deceptive in nature. And
it only usually seems to go one way, right? It seems to that when those things fall through the cracks or happen, affect negatively the conservative or the Republican or the person on the right that the story is about, or the white person or the non-minority.
Mostly white.
Yeah, mostly the white. Yes, absolutely.
Which is exactly what our story this week is about with media dishonesty. So, this happened, a day, I think it was 2 days ago, where the Army sergeant went on a shooting rampage. And it's not a good story. It's a horrible story. It happened at Fort Stewart in Georgia. But of course, coming out of the story, we see that the person who did the shooting, the Army sergeant, was not white, right? And all of a sudden, the story kind of went quiet. And we actually published an article about this. It kind of details the way that the different media outlets covered this story, and then juxtaposes that to the way that the media covers stories where the shooter is white, or especially a white male. Which, I mean, that's usually, if it's a shooting situation, it usually is a male. But CNN covered it and said, suspect in Fort Stewart shooting is a 28-year-old active duty sergeant. Officials said 5 wounded soldiers expect to recover. CBS News. Breaking. The suspect in the Fort Stewart shooting has been identified as an active duty sergeant in the Army. No information, no name, no picture, no nothing, right? Okay. NBC News says, Army identifies Fort Stewart shooting suspect as an active duty sergeant who says shot 5 fellow soldiers with a personal handgun. Okay. Still no mention. It sounds like they're all kind of speaking the same script. Then it shows a whole list of all of the media outlets and not one person mentioning the name, showing the person or the, race, nothing like that. And then you actually see who it is. This is a photo. Cornelius.
It's a crazy spelling of Cornelius. Quorn.
Wait, he's QAnon.
Q.
You figured it out, Travis.
That's
Four
Q.
letters.
That's Q.
That's Q.
And I take no pleasure in this person's. To me, it doesn't matter. Like, to me personally, it doesn't matter what color somebody does something like this. Just like last week we talked about it. Like this is an act of cowardice. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Hispanic. It doesn't matter any of that. But media honesty and reporting the news, everything is put through this lens of whitewashing things and no pun intended. And this is just it's egregious that here's an example of the Atlanta spa shooting from CNN. This is what they published. This is the photo on the CNN headline. What we know about Robert Aaron Long, the suspect in Atlanta spa shootings, and what's the difference between those two, right? I mean, what is going on with the media's inability to be consistent, right?
Well, there's a playbook, right? It's like if the shooter is white, then the shooting is racially motivated or sexist, misogyny motivated or black, and that becomes the narrative. If the shooter is a minority, then the narrative just becomes about gun control. This has been going on for the last 10, 15 years. It's always about gun control at the end. But there has to be a narrative, and we have to know right now. And both sides actually fall into this. And I don't love this, like, we have to have a reason right now for why this happened, and we're all going to just paint over whatever we want the reason to be to fit our own political narrative. But it has become this, like, especially on the left, this, I always look, okay, is it gun control, or is it race, or is it sexism, or what is going to become the narrative coming out of this? And you're right, Dan, it is crazy when it's just like the white narrative is this, the minority narrative is this. And it doesn't do anybody any good. It's like they've been doing this for 20 years now, and we haven't moved the needle much on like gun violence and any of this stuff because we're not honestly reporting it. It's
right. Well, Travis, how do you think that this affects people's perception of the world, for instance?
Well, if you're just casually looking at the news, you're going to think white people are the only people who shoot anything. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. That's the one that's front facing is like the usually single white 20 to 30s person. It's also the reason everyone thinks that white people are predominantly serial killers, and like the most prolific serial killer in the United States is an African American.
Who is that?
His name is Samuel Little.
Interesting. How many people did he kill? And when was that? I don't know the story of Samuel Little.
I don't know too much else about it. Just that it's over 30 people.
Jeez.
It was the DC. It was the DC sniper too, wasn't the DC sniper black?
Yes. He was definitely not white. I don't know if he was Arab or not.
Right.
Because he was Muslim, I think.
And I'm not asking for them to focus on the fact that the person, the DC sniper or whatever is black. That's not what I want at all. What I want is honesty and consistency. What I want is when there's gun violence in the country, if you want to talk about gun violence and you want to have an actual conversation about it, you have to present it as it actually is, and not make it seem like, because ultimately what the goal is, I guess, is to undermine conservative white Christian men and the things that they stand for and the things that they they want to have guns, they want to have religion, they want to have those things, and you want to undermine those things. And the way that you do that is you make it seem like those are the most evil people in the world. There are legitimately people out there who now feel the most unsafe when they're in a room full of white Christian males, because of the way that the media paints everything. And it's not just simply by lying directly, it's by omission, right? It's lying by omission.
Yeah, it's the bear. Would you rather be, what was the bear thing? Like hanging out with a bear or hanging out with a man or something like that? I don't remember what it was, but.
Oh yeah, the women chose the bear.
The bear, yeah. Okay.
What?
Statistically, you're wrong, but okay, whatever.
Yeah, I saw the sign at one of the Hamas protests this week that said that I would rather be with the immigrants than with the white fascists or something like that. Jeez. And it's like, I mean, like literally think about what would happen if this somewhat attractive female was, captured by Hamas, for instance, right? It's not an immigrant, but you know what I'm saying, like these people that idolize these groups of people. And then every day she goes to work and you have these guys like Daniel Penny on the subway with them that are actually willing to die to protect them if something happens to them. And they have demonized them in their minds. And again, it's not that there aren't black people who are willing to die to protect them as well. There are very good black people as well. But my point is taking objection to the fact that only one side is ever demonized in those conversations. And that's the media's dishonesty for you. It's also funny when the media is dishonest and doesn't realize exactly what they're saying. We had another story this week that it was a great write-up from Joel Abbott, who is our editor-in-chief. This is the New York Times accidentally making a case for stronger border control. And they're talking about airline airport lounge access. And they're making an argument for stronger border laws. So when everybody has airport lounge access, the headline reads, nobody does. So we go through this whole story about how this guy has airport access, and now it's getting overrun by people. And the more people that have it, and the more people have access to it, and the more quote unquote riffraff that they allow into these places, the way that it kind of the way that it ruins the prestige of the place, and it ruins the culture of the place, and it ruins all these things. This guy says, could not agree more. Airport lounges were supposed to be an escape from the chaos. Now they are the chaos, right? Joel says this article meanders. It's essentially a wealthy millennial opining on the fact that credit card companies have allowed more and more people access to their exclusive lounges. Once reserved for mostly older, frequent business travelers, lounges are increasingly being invaded by people like me. So to sum it up, there used to be something special about the exclusivity of an airport lounge. But what's really funny is they actually ended up realizing it. They actually ended up changing their headline. Their headline now reads, "Airport lounges sound luxurious. I keep getting duped."
Yeah.
But it's going to have the same basic point in there.
It will be the same basic point,
Yeah.
but it's not quite the low-hanging fruit of like, okay, this is obviously making a point that I wasn't trying to make in the headline. The New York Times has had like a long list of horrible headlines over the course of the last couple of weeks, have they not?
Yeah, I love airport lounges, but we have 5 kids. And so when we go in, because we travel a lot with our kids. And I will say, when we go into a lounge with our kids, I do feel a little conspicuous because people, I know this isn't the conversation we're talking about dishonesty, but I'm just talking about lounges. People do look at us like, uh-oh. And I try to be very make my kids behave really well when we're in those lounges, because I do think they should be held as sacred spaces. But I also love an airport lounge. It's the only way to travel.
To continue the conversation about lounges, my wife she likes to decorate in our home, of course, and in our bathroom she has a little sign that has the word bathroom and then the pronunciation and then a definition, and it says a safe space for parents to get away from their children. That's up on the wall.
Always.
Right, but because we have a lot, but because we have a lot of kids too, Robin, and so we sometimes it's just like, you just need that little space in there, and once they all kind of follow you in. But isn't this the same thing with if you believe anything, or if you believe everything, then you believe nothing? It's that same kind of argument where anything could be true. It doesn't matter what you believe. It just goes to the whole point of there being truth. There's an actual truth out there, and if this person doesn't see the forest for the trees there, he doesn't understand what he's saying and how that can be extrapolated into something bigger for the whole nation. That tells you again, like what Dan's saying about the media and their problem with truth.
Their problem with truth is that they don't care about the truth. That's the main issue.
It's their truth.
It's a pretty significant issue, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're supposed to be pursuing?
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Right.
I think so.
But people are in such ideological bubbles that it does. I have so many friends on the left who only consume NPR, New York Times, BuzzFeed, or whatever, Variety, Vogue, all of the super, the Atlantic. And there is, to Israel's point, kind of this this is truth. And it's truth because the networks and the outlets that I read say it's true. And there's no way. And people on the right can do it too. There are definitely ideological bubbles on the right for sure. And I try to step out of them. And I listen to Pod Save America every once in a while, just trying to figure out what the other guys are saying and strongman their arguments. Because if you can't restate your opponent's argument or views in a strong way, then you probably don't know exactly what they're trying to say, even if you disagree with it. I try to do this a lot, even with the trans stuff and all of it. I try to go to the core of what is the best possible version of this ideology, because then you can understand, and then you're better equipped to argue it. I think if you only argue the straw man weakest points of people's arguments, you tend to get in the weeds of stupid arguments. And so I teach my kids this. In fact, one of my kids the other day accused me of building a straw man when I asked him to clean his room, and I said, you never clean your room. He's like, Mom, that's a straw man. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've created a monster. But it is true. It's Yeah, there is my truth and your truth, but at the end of the day, there is only the truth, and it can be very hard to figure out what it is. But you have to step out of these bubbles. And the New York Times, they sure lay it on thick. I mean, they're in a bubble.
One way to kind of see what the other side is talking about is to watch South Park. And South Park has gone viral over the course of the last couple of weeks because of their new series. Their new season is focusing on Trump, and he falls in love with Satan, just like Saddam Hussein did, and all this other stuff. And I think I mentioned it in the last episode. And I'm a fan of South Park in the way that you can be a fan of just simply the art of satire. So, me and my brother and all of us at the Babylon Bee, we run a satire site for our living, right? And so to see kind of what the other side is making fun of is not only interesting. I look at The Onion. I'm one of the few people in the country who actually still goes to theonion.com and reads their articles. And I also love watching South Park because honestly, as far as satire and parody is concerned, South Park really honestly has been probably the most consistent voice of satire in our country for the last 20 years. I would actually make that argument very strongly. There are other people who have come and gone. Colbert in his original show actually was a much more effective satirist than he is. He's not doing satire now. It's a satire. He's almost a caricature of something now, but he's not
speaking truth to power, Dan. He's speaking truth to power. So you better check yourself.
Yeah, he's just a political hack now. But we don't have to worry about that anymore. He's not on the air. But South Park, pushes the envelope. And the funny thing is, like, people talk about how it used to be that Republicans didn't have a sense of humor. We're all these Bible thumping, Christians. But man, I grew up on South Park too. I grew up listening to Eminem. I grew up, like doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing as a Christian, just like, most of the rest of us did, not all of us, and kind of, experiencing culture and seeing it. I wasn't really consuming it in the same way, but I was at least like recognizing, South Park makes great points, even if they throw in a lot of F words, right? And the new episode of South Park's funny. Like JD Vance tweeted about how he's now on South Park. He's like, I finally made it. And it's a photo of him and Trump, in South Park. And it's like, he's like, and in reality, JD Vance probably grew up the same way I did. Like Comedy Central was on when he was around the same age as me, and we would watch it and we thought it was funny. And whether it makes fun of our sacred cows or their sacred cows, it's funny. And so I'll show a quick clip now of South Park's latest episode where ICE raids heaven. I don't know the background of why they're raiding heaven, but Kristi Noem in this, I think, says the line, if it's brown, it goes down. That's their wording, not mine. But it's like, we can watch this and see, like from their perspective, it's funny, right? Like, I mean, this is ICE raiding heaven from the latest episode of South Park.
Beautiful animation. Look at that.
How do they know what it looks like? Dear.
That's one of those things where you kind of feel bad for laughing at it, but it is
it's well made. Funny. It's well made. It's satirizing, the things from the other side. And like, to your point, Robin, like, it's important to see kind of like from their perspective how ridiculous things feel and look to them. And to understand their perspective, and to also, that was pretty good animation. The animation's good. Poor dog. That dog went to heaven, and then
all dogs go to heaven.
It's just gonna go back there.
Do the bad dogs go to heaven?
I don't know.
All dogs go to heaven.
All dogs
Did Cujo go to heaven?
Them. He did. Look it up. It's in your Bible.
He did.
It's in your Bible.
But they just leave him outside, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's an
with that sandlot.
He's an outside dog. Yeah.
He's an outside heaven dog.
Outside heaven dog. Yeah.
He sleeps in a kennel.
Don't go past the pearly gate there now. No. You stay back.
Did any of the rest of you, none of you seem to have too strong of an opinion about it. Did any of the rest of you watch South Park growing up or no?
I watched it. I watched it a bit. I definitely kind of fell out of it a little bit because, every now and then, I don't know, I would just get a little bit of a conscience about it. Not judging anyone who watched it, but just like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be watching.
Not saying
this.
Dan's a terrible person, but
yeah,
but totally saying it.
But
they've always been very creative. They're very clever people. I've always said that it would it would definitely be the best show ever if they would just tone it down a smidge. But then I know that if they heard me say that, they'd be like, "Oh, well, then we're going even further," because that's their
Just because
personality.
Travis said that.
Because I said that, yeah. But no, it's they have some very fantastic episodes.
I love the episode where Cartman thinks that he can pretend to be handicapped and compete in the Special Olympics, that he's going to dominate, and then he ends up getting destroyed by all the special needs kids. I love that episode.
I've seen a lot of South Park episodes, but I was never like a super fan. I would sneak down. So I watched The Simpsons like religiously growing up, which my parents did not like, but I was the youngest of 7 and they just sort of whatever. But when I got to be a teenager, I would sneak downstairs and watch Beavis and Butthead, which was my mom caught me one time, and it was like the only time I ever got grounded as a teenager. She hated that show, rightfully so. It was garbage, but it was so funny to me as a teenage kid in the 90s. But South Park, which it just never, but there's some South Park episodes that I have seen that are so funny, it's like hurts that you did, like, it just, as a satire writer, like, oh, I will never be on that level. Like the trans one, they have the one where like the giant dude is competing in the against the women, and he just keeps knocking the crap out.
Them. Yeah.
He just that is so funny. But the funny part about all of the reaction to it is like Charlie Kirk. Sorry, I'm like Tim Cook. Charlie Kirk put his profile now on Twitter is his face, and so many people are like, he doesn't know they're making fun of him. And it's like, he totally knows they're making fun of him. The right people I don't want to say all people on the right, but we're just used to people
in general, people on the right.
Us.
Yeah. And people on the right, for the most part, can laugh at themselves and see that it's just satire and it's just comedy, and don't get offended by it, demand cancellation and all this other stuff. And it's like, the people.
Didn't moms try to cancel like years ago? Didn't they try to cancel South Park?
Sure.
Oh yeah,
probably.
My mom
Muslims
would
tried to
probably have been
cancel
one of them.
South Park.
That's true.
They did have the one. They did have the one situation they backed down from, which was the Muhammad thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it was them who backed down, but it was definitely Comedy Central.
It was Comedy Central did, I think, and I, if I remember correctly, the creators were like, "Oh, we really wanted to do it."
I think they aired it. I think it aired.
They did eventually.
They pulled it down. They censored it in a certain way and then ended up pulling it down. But I think it did actually air at some point in time. Speaking of not backing down, the Babylon Bee's been involved in a lawsuit. I don't know that the word right now yet is won. But the Babylon Bee sued the state of California. Governor Newsom was trying to restrict deep fakes and satirical content related to elections. So basically put a limitation on people being allowed to make jokes like this, like South Park. South Park would have been affected by this, by the way, by this law. So basically during an election cycle, you're not allowed to make any claims, real or otherwise, about political figures involved in the election, even if they're obviously jokes. And even if you're a known satirist, you are not allowed to make jokes about them during that time. Basically, it's a surveillance state Orwellian type of a situation that Newsom was super, into. And just this week we got, initially there was a stay on it. And then now there's actually been an actual judgment ruling that the state of California is not allowed to enforce this law. And we were one of the main plaintiffs. And
nice work.
I don't please clap. We do what we can. We try to get involved in situations like this, but this actually literally, it's not just us trying to be like, fighting for free speech. This actually is us fighting for our business. And the state of California does this ridiculous stuff. If they actually won and somehow tried to enforce this, they could show up at our office with handcuffs and arrest us.
I'd come visit you in jail, Dan.
They would probably arrest Kyle and Travis and first.
I would say it wasn't me. I don't know how to do animation.
Dan, you're too pretty for jail.
I would just flip them some Israel money and be like, no.
Yeah,
we're good.
Israel bucks.
DeSantis would not extradite me. I feel like I would be safe. I'm in Florida. I don't think DeSantis would send me over there. I think he'd protect me.
Is it the people who come up with these laws are just really that insecure and can't handle it? And, if you're going to be in public office and do all that, don't you have to have some, I think I'm answering my own question here. Don't you have to have some understanding of how the American government works? and
they
that
don't care.
People are allowed, right?
Newsom knew that law wasn't going to be able to be upheld. I mean, but at the same time, if you could get it to be upheld in a temporary, time frame and tell another judge, or it got appealed and went up to, to a state Supreme Court or to, the actual Supreme Court. He knew that he could at least use it to intimidate people. If you're talking about a law that's out there, it has an effect, a positive effect for the person doing it, even if they don't actually go through in the long term and win. And it's the same thing as that what happened during COVID with the 2020 election. Everything that those people were doing in order to mail out ballots to people who didn't even ask for them, that was against state laws and things like that. They knew everything that they were doing was illegal, but they also knew that if they just did it, the court system is too slow. They would be able to get the outcome that they wanted from doing it before it was deemed that it wasn't allowed, which none of that makes any sense to me. The emergency powers thing with the governors and all the stuff that happened with COVID election, I would call interference. None of it makes any sense to me. How is it that everybody's able to do everything illegal in government for so long? Then somebody says, hey, actually, that was super illegal. And then they're either out of office or they're still in office. Governor Whitmer's still up there. It doesn't matter that her executive orders were illegal. Why not?
There's no consequence.
There's no consequence whatsoever for her for 2.5 years shutting down businesses that she wasn't allowed to shut down.
She's still the weird governor.
She's the white witch.
White witch.
The white witch.
The white
Isn't it bad that
West.
when you guys are talking about going to jail, I'm sitting here at the end of summer vacation thinking, that sounds nice. Just like a quiet room. Maybe I'll volunteer. If they're going to start arresting B writers for bad satire, wrong
You're going to
thing,
volunteer?
I'll volunteer. Like, what is that from 30 Rock? They bring you a sandwich and open the door for you like that. Right now, 5 kids at the end of summer vacation. I guess you guys were talking. It was like my mental state. I realized was like, that sounds awesome. I'll go spend a couple of nights in jail.
you see, Robin, it's actually an exclusive club that only some people are going to be allowed into.
Without kids, no kids.
But
allowed.
once they start letting everybody in, it's not special anymore.
Yeah, don't let the riffraff
Yeah, don't let the riffraff
into jail.
This actually sounds like
Robin.
a South Park episode. Actually, it sounds like it could be the beginnings of an idea.
I volunteer to go to jail. Like one of the nice ones, not one of the gross ones, but the ones where you just can like hang out and they bring you food for a few days and
Alligator
Someone's phone is
Alcatraz.
Yeah, that was my phone. My phone was going nuts.
Are they arresting me? Was that?
They're calling
that
right now. We've actually had a Babylon Bee employee, a contractor. I don't know. My phone is on Do Not Disturb, so apparently somebody is urgently trying to call me.
They really want me to go to jail.
I'm gonna respond right now in text. I'm on a podcast.
Ooh.
Is this important enough? No, I'm not gonna send that.
Don't text Trump back. Call him.
Tell him.
Dan,
Make 'em
I want
wait.
you on the
Send him a
roof.
link.
This is the guys from South Park. They want us to talk about their show a little bit more.
A little bit more.
No.
I wasn't allowed to watch South Park, if you could believe it or not.
Yeah, if you
We
can
also didn't
believe
have
that one.
cable.
I was the only thing I've said this before, but the only thing I wasn't allowed to watch growing up, which is really weird to me because my dad was a pastor. The only thing I wasn't allowed to watch was Smurfs, which I think was normal.
What?
But I was allowed to watch at least.
Why
the
not
TV
Smurfs?
Would he sit there and watch South Park with you and say,
There
"No,
was
you're
this
not
thing-
watching that blue stuff"?
There was this thing that was going on in Protestant Christianity during the mid 90s that said Smurfs, the magic was like the cult or something like that. The occult.
Oh, nice.
No, it's evil. Yeah, it's
The magic was like a representation for the occult or something like that. And
One
so
woman living in a
nobody
town of
was
men.
I
allowed.
thought it was the immorality of Lady Smurf living with all these dude Smurfs. That's
No,
that.
it was the magic, and none of us were allowed to watch it, which made us want to watch it more. By the way,
Of course.
but, you know,
I
grew
learned
up-
that Smurf magic.
But my parents were fine with us watching at least the TV edits of some movies that you wouldn't expect. Like we watched Predator and Terminator and things like that when I was pretty young. But I mean, it was the TV edits. We weren't watching them in the theaters and stuff like that. But the TV edits of those movies are still not great. You know, like they're still pretty advanced for a 9 or 10-year-old, I would say. You can't edit out the whole movie. You know,
Sure. Well, Predator has a very Christ-centered message, though.
yes, yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, let's be
There's
honest.
a
Wait.
redemption in there.
Arnold is the same. Like, I have to think
Yes.
about that one. And I don't want to like draw a line that would be considered blasphemy. And predator is Satan, or predator is lack of faith, or
The entire thing is an allegory for the temptation in the desert.
really? Is this
No,
true?
I make
No.
No, I would have believed you, and I would have like
No, the predator
I would
represents
follow you.
forgetting to bring your Bible to church. That's what the predator represents.
That's it.
you can only see him.
Oh no, the predator
infrared.
presents what will happen if you watch Smurfs.
You can only see your sins
you-
through infrared cameras, and then Jesus can see your sins because he has infrared, and that's how he.
You have to
He will have
destroy.
he will have his vengeance on sin in the end.
You have
In
to
the end.
destroy your temptation to watch Smurfs with a minigun. That's what you have to do.
By shooting your
Predator
arm
is a
off,
movie
yeah.
I didn't actually see until maybe 5 years ago for the first time. It is so good. It is
It's so
such
good.
a good movie. It is like one of the top. It's become like one of my top 5 favorite action films.
What you're talking
ever.
about,
It's
Predator?
just the first one. I only watched
Yeah.
it like maybe 5 years ago.
Well,
with
you
my
only
husband,
watched
and
the first one. The other ones are all stupid.
I've never
Yeah.
seen the other. And Rambo too. I saw Rambo for the first time a few years ago. And that one not as much. It's a little slow to be honest. But Predator was fantastic.
Prey is okay as far as Predator sequels go. Prey is okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
The only one I ever saw was Alien versus Predator.
Oh, the old one, like the
Yeah.
original.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was kind of garbage.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
is. That's
That's
because
blasphemous. It's blasphemous.
There wasn't enough of a Christ-like message in that one. I didn't think
that exactly. Thank you.
so.
The only Alien versus Predator experience I have is we had a Jaguar, an Atari Jaguar gaming console. Travis, do you know what I'm talking about?
I do
growing
know
up?
of it. Yeah.
My dad got one at some point, and we had the Alien versus Predator Atari Jaguar game. And I used to play that a lot, and it was one of my favorite video games growing up.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did the Jaguar have a controller with like a bunch of numbers on it?
Yes.
Am I remembering that?
Very
right?
confusing.
What were the
keypad.
numbers for?
Never knew. Nobody knows.
Okay.
Just
All right.
B, let's put a picture up of one of those. This is gripping, but like they're the most confusing. And there was like 80 prongs that you had to dock, and they would always get bent. So your whole life was spent straightening out the prongs of the controller. And my dad used to go to these auctions where you'd like bid on pallets of stuff, and he'd bring home sometimes an Atari Jaguar, sometimes nonsense. But it was wonderful as a kid growing up with these mystery boxes coming home.
That's fun.
Nice. Oh, was he in Storage Wars?
Yes, yeah. My dad found it. No, I wish.
It was
That'd be
Barry.
Yeah.
Oh, Barry. My kids love Storage Wars now, and I did not realize Storage
Such a
Wars.
great show.
It is a good show, but it's worse than Smurfs. You cannot watch that with kids. Like they don't even bleep like any of the curse words. Like only the F word is bleeped.
Yeah.
Let's just say.
Because
And
it was
that-
a cable show, right? So
yeah,
they
but
have different
still, I mean,
rules.
it's pretty bad, and there's a lot of sexual innuendo in it. There's like a lot of stuff like that. I did not realize it at all. And it's kind of on in the background. I'm like, what the heck is my 6-year-old watching? But they,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it's not always like that, and so they love, that show hit on something really special with, like it's the mystery box, the original like mystery box type of a thing, like what's in there, and then the Dave Hester guy, I guess, sued the show because he said that they were planting stuff in the storage
Clearly,
unit. Yeah,
the show. The more you watch it, you feel like, hold on, how do they end up finding this one thing that? Oh, I know that one guy.
right,
Who can
Exactly.
who can validate this thing for me and tell me.
And it's
how
always
great
like
it is.
it's just like some college kid's clothing, and then it's an original copy of the Declaration of Independence. It's like, it's like, it's like nothing in there, is taken care of at all. But then there's like this like ridiculous antique, like whatever. I
The
don't know.
Holy Grail.
Yeah.
That could be like another redemption Christ-like thing for us. He finds us and finds the thing that is valuable inside there.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
I like that.
Just with
National.
too much
Get a whole
swearing.
sermon illustration out of that.
You can get a sermon illustration out of anything.
Out of anything.
The only
Okay.
other what?
I was going to say, can you out of this book, but I don't want to make you comment
Oh,
on that right now.
Blackout by Candace Owens.
Yes.
How is
I'm
it?
sure there's.
I've never read it. I don't know. We used it as a prop for something.
I don't know anything. I did not read that book. I don't know anything about any of that stuff. I don't want to talk about that stuff. What we do need to talk about is The last major like news story I think that we should discuss is the Texas situation with the redistricting of Texas and Democrat lawmakers getting the heck out of town. They just are fugitives now, I guess, just leaving the state of Texas. And the FBI is now on the case and going to try and track them down. Like, I guess nobody knows where these people are. They're in Illinois, I guess, right? They all
Chicago and New York, and they spread out, but most of them went to Chicago, supposedly.
And so they are obviously not living up to their oath to, be present and to be part of,
do their job,
whatever.
Functioning government.
Do you think it's a good precedent or a bad precedent? Bad look, good look, the right thing to do to kind of be this forceful about it? They are going to have to come back at some point in time, right? Like, there's no reason why the vote on the redistricting had to happen on that day. I know that you get mad about it, but it's just like, okay, well, the next time we come into session, it's the first thing that's going to happen, right? So, is this the right response to kind of get this aggressive about it? Because the one thing that the Republicans do fall into the pitfall of is kind of looking like the bad guys sometimes, like it's like using the government to go after people like this that are somewhat popular amongst their constituents is probably legally the right thing to do in this situation, but is it optically the right thing to do? And again, it's one of those things that just like, it just feels like nothing ever actually really happens. Like, I would love to believe that these Democrats are actually going to get arrested and actually get expelled from Congress because of this, but they're not, right? They're not. It's not, nothing's going to happen, right? Like, that's my prediction, right? Nothing's going to happen.
No, they're eventually going to come back and they're going to do the vote, and it's just, they're all going to vote against it and it'll pass anyway.
To me, it's kind of like the whole Governor Newsom thing in California, because here you have the law and everything that they're supposed to uphold, but it's like they're just doing it for the soundbite, right? Because we are out here. I heard one of them say the line, we're out here going to try to defend democracy because, your vote's going to somehow get taken away. Hold up. You're not participating in the vote. So you are actually taking away the democratic process.
Right.
You're just in it for the vote. I love the fact that the governor, I think he actually did say or sign something to say that that they should go after or put out the warrant for their arrest. That's it.
Right.
He put out the warrant because I feel like while we're in the era of Trump, anything goes as far as, what the original constitutional powers are of the governors and the states and even the president. So those kinds of things that kind of that we wouldn't consider happening today because maybe we're too sophisticated and we can't allow those kinds of things. Now, if that's legal, you could go ahead and do it, right? If he has the authority to do that, that's fantastic.
My main concern is just, while I do believe that in this case he's right, you have people like Whitmer up in Michigan doing things that I don't think are right and utilizing their powers. And then you find out again, 6 months down the road that they weren't right. And they just thought they were right. And they abused their powers and things like that. So, is there a certain amount of that we're maybe a little bit blind to just because we like the potential outcome of this particular case? I don't know. I don't know the legality of what the Texas Supreme Court and governor together can do in order to force people to be present for, the votes in their Congress. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not an expert on it. But I do know that, optically you have this, it's so funny to me because it's like the opposite of reality, but the Democrats really are the ones who are big surveillance, big government, big spending, big control. But like the Republicans are in power right now, and that's the way that it's being portrayed in the media and even on South Park. You see the ice raids in heaven in South Park, and you all you hear about is, okay, we've got governors now going out and arresting, members of Congress. You've got potentially Trump going after the Obamas maybe and the Clintons of the world because of the stuff that's going on with Russiagate and how that all ended up being a hoax. Like we all knew that it was while it was happening. It really paints the picture that it's the Republicans who use big government in order to punish their political adversaries. They're very effective at making that argument based upon the optics of it. And that's the only thing about it that kind of sucks. It doesn't mean that you don't do the right thing, but it is the part about it that it's like, man, how does it end up getting painted this way in people's minds when the reality is completely the opposite? The Democrats are so cunning about the way that they always perpetuate the idea that they're the victims of things, that like people don't see that the Democrats are the ones who actually want full authoritarian control of everybody's lives. That Texas is trying to just enforce equal representation in their state. That's it. Texas is, they're the ones who are actually trying to enforce like freedom and equality and democracy. And the Democrats are fighting it. They're fighting it.
The sad thing is that in Texas, there's legislation for Texas for the flood relief that can't be voted on. Right. How come the Republicans don't focus on those optics?
Yeah. Well, the Republicans don't have any control of the media. The Republicans, when you say how come the Republicans don't focus on that, the Republicans don't have any pull to bring the public's opinion about anything one way or the other, because all of the media is controlled by the left. So the perspective is always going to be painted by whatever the Democrats want it to be painted as, which is going to be negative towards whatever the Republican is doing. All right, now it is time for one of my favorite segments of the week, which is to go through the Babylon Bee forum and read some of the headlines from some of our subscribers, just like Israel, not the country, the person.
Yeah.
Netanyahu's on here posting stuff all the time. It's crazy.
He's funding my my account.
So, Travis, let's read through some of our featured headlines. So these are from our subscribers who are actually pitching headlines that actually end up either getting featured on the homepage, published as actual articles. It's a great opportunity for you to join the community and do that yourself. So if you want to sign up, go to babylonbee.com/plans, and you'll be able to pitch these, and you might see your own headline on this podcast.
And you too can become famous. So this is from Turkey Buzzard. Female umpire has to leave game when she realizes she has same outfit on as the other umpire. This is embarrassing. One of us has to change.
Fantastic.
That is great. That one didn't get published. That's just featured.
Just featured. That deserves.
Well, that just came in today. Maybe they haven't.
19 hours ago. The other thing is sometimes the joke is a little bit too close to another joke that's circulating on the internet or whatever, and we want to be completely original. So not everything ends up getting published, but at least gets featured on the homepage. So this was actually shown on the homepage. All right, let's go on to the next one. I love that one. That was great.
Yeah. From
Nicholas. Let me give over alicorn. What is an alicorn?
What is an
squid?
alicorn?
I don't know. I'm going to give it to it. Okay, next one.
Well, didn't you pick all these?
Well, that's what I was thinking, Travis.
It's a whole list of like 500 of them. I don't remember what they all are.
Okay.
What is this? Who made these?
Who approved that?
I like the pink. That's good.
Mm-hmm. Well, from Nicholas, who is apparently a member of Team Murph today, Zelensky seen wearing American Eagle jeans to get more funding from Republicans. I could see him doing that.
It's a little chuckle. I'll give it a bagel.
Yeah, a bagel's the same as a chuckle.
Yeah.
From Westland 619, Texas solves all of its problems in 1 hour after Democratic lawmakers flee state.
Man, it's true though, right?
Not even a joke.
If they could just get rid of them, it's not even a joke. You can give it a trophy for being real.
Nice.
From middle-aged machinist, boy pressing charges after brother looked out window on his side of car. This seemed kind of real.
Helicopter.
Yeah, that's my children in the back seat.
And isn't it middle-aged machinist?
Yes. I don't know why I said machinist. I'm sorry.
All right, let's look at
I can't read no good.
All right, publish headlines.
Right.
These ones actually got published this week. That's great.
From Babylon Josh, Governor Abbott orders posses to go lasso and round up runaway Dems.
Should be
Saw
Chuck
that one the
Norris.
other day.
Should be Chuck Norris. 2 + 2 is chicken. We'll skip because 2 + 2 chicken is kind of part of our staff a little bit. All right, Beavis 1 2 3 4 5.
Governor Abbott to close the northern Texas border to anyone coming from Illinois.
What did we actually publish that?
We changed
Texas
it a
begins
little
construction on northern border wall to keep Democrat lawmakers from returning. Okay, well, that's good. That's it's a great interpretation of that. Yeah, it's an improvement, but it's great that this person gave us the gem to start from.
Ooh, can I read the Israel one?
Yes,
please do.
Go for it. Yes.
Okay, this is from The Big Freeze. Archaeologists in Jerusalem believe they have discovered Bathsheba's American Eagle genes.
Oh,
Nice.
I like the
Nice
picture
little-
there. That's good.
that is good. It's gonna get a record. All right, so now let's do the I'm feeling lucky, which this is where it gets a little dangerous. We don't know what we're gonna get. We don't know what we're gonna get. Let's do it.
All right, from Clark Kent. Every dark cloud does not have a silver lining, but some do.
It's kind of stupid. It's kind of silly.
I mean,
Why is that?
Okay.
Why is that? Why is that? Babylon B. Yeah, I don't know. All right, next one.
all right, Israel, why don't you read this one?
Sure. From Mallory, August 6th is.
I don't think this is. I don't think this is an actual headline. I
Oh
think
no,
like
yeah,
one of
this is
those posts.
It's
in
just
the social thing. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
gonna do another
schedule.
one.
Yeah. Let me get another one. Okay. What is that? XX Global? Oh,
Yeah.
Exec Global. Got it. DNC drops Trump biopic as inconvenient winner.
An inconvenient winner.
An inconvenient winner.
And a
Like
play
an
on
inconvenient
inconvenient
truth.
truth.
The truth. Yeah.
Ah.
That's a little late. That joke is
Yeah.
a little. Maybe if it came out the day after the election or something like that, it would have a little bit more. I don't know.
Timing is everything in comedy.
Timing is everything, so I'm gonna put a care. Like I care about the fact that you did not get that out there quite in time. All right, one more feeling lucky.
All right. From Captain Adam, Great Britain downgraded to mediocre Britain. That's a classic
like it.
dad
I
joke.
I like that
like
one.
that.
That's
Yeah,
good.
That's good. Moon.
You're pretty good, Britain.
All right, those were some good headlines this week. Actually, that first one was really, really good. I'm really happy with that. All right, so we got a couple little conversational pieces, Mr. B, if you want to give us a quiz, if you want to ask us a question or two, and then we'll wrap things up.
All right, Israel, I was very intrigued by the music you said you listened to growing up. What'd you say, Spanish music and classical music? So I'd like to know your favorite movie and TV show growing up.
Favorite movie growing up. I'm a Star Wars guy. I love Star Wars. But probably my favorite movie growing up would be The Return of the Jedi. And I know some people are going to say, no, what about, The Empire Strikes Back? That was the best one. My favorite one was Return of the Jedi because I love the conclusion of stuff. I love how
Yeah, brought it all
story
together. I
ends.
agree with that.
Yeah, brought it all together. Good guys win. What was the other question?
TV show growing up,
Favorite
because
TV
you had a childhood where you couldn't see certain things. So I'm curious to see what you were allowed to see and what's your favorite.
Sure. Okay. I don't think anyone's going to remember. I had a few favorites. Probably my absolute favorite would have been Pinky and the Brain. I love Pinky and the Brain, and a close second to that one was Eek the Cat. That's like really esoteric. Nobody knows that show.
I remember Eek the Cat.
You remember Eek the Cat? Kumbaya!
A little.
That one. It was like the comedy on that was so outlandish that it hit my it tickled my funny boner, tickled me just right, as Dr. Hibbert would say, because I also never watched The Simpsons ever.
Wink at the camera, parents.
Yeah, and I love this show. Another favorite would have been Recess. If you know Recess from like One Saturday Morning. That was my generation there. That one was a bit more serious though on the funny side, but the slapstick comedy thing, that was my thing. And I love a good classic like Merry Melodies and Bugs Bunny kind of stuff. That was my jam. I loved it.
What about you guys? Anything fun from your childhood?
In terms of TV shows,
Yeah.
no. I don't know. I'm
We didn't
totally
have
blanking.
TV.
I mean, I was watching Thundercats, and Christian media. It wasn't a show, but it was the audio book from Focus on the Family, Adventures in Odyssey.
Adventures in Odyssey.
Did you guys know about that? I'm sure there's a lot of people who are subscribers will know about that, but those were just on tape, and my parents would put them on in the car when we were going on trips or whatever, and it was just, wholesome stories or whatever, and I loved those. But yeah, He-Man, Thundercats, Transformers, those were the jam. That was what I was into.
When I would come home from school, there would be like a 2 or 3 hour block in the afternoon Did you guys have that too? Like you could have like a couple cartoons or something
Mhm.
you could watch right after school. But and when I was growing up, those cartoons ended, and then the next half hour or something was The Simpsons because it was still a cartoon and it led into like the evening
bridge.
news. Yeah, it was the bridge, and then I would say like, "Oh, I'm just watching cartoons." What cartoon are you watching? Nothing. I'm coming down for dinner right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch a lot of GI Joes. You kind of made me think of that when you brought up Transformers because they were kind of in the same wheelhouse, so to speak. Lots of GI Joes.
All right, last question, Dan. I know you work out. I know you eat well. You get on your binges of that. What is your favorite cheat meal? If you could eat one thing, what is it? It's not healthy.
It's got to be really bad for me.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I love Chinese food, as you know, and just what was the place that we went in Boone? Taste Grill or Taste Kitchen, Taste Grill, something like that.
I think it was Taste
Man,
Grill.
Deep
fried,
the General
amazing fast food
Tso's
Chinese.
amazing Chinese. Yeah, like that. Like the this is not real meat Chinese food. Even just the sweet and sour chicken, man. Dump in that weird, like almost
Translucent.
no, the sweet and sour sauce, that pinkish red dye that is giving you cancer all over your chicken. Like that's definitely my cheat meal. Just as much rice and fried chicken as I can stuff in my body as possible.
6,000 calories.
Absolutely.
What about you guys? Cheat meal.
Well, I'll go to Freddy's Steak Burgers and I'll get like the Freddy burger meal but I'll get cheese curds and then I'll follow it up with a frozen custard. That's like,
Is that
2 days
that
worth
place is
of-
like that's like Culver's then, right? Freddy's.
it's like Culver's, but it's better.
Oh,
In my opinion.
words.
And I like Culver's, but it's Freddy's.
Yeah, it's Freddy's.
Yeah, he was a World War II veteran, so I'm just saying.
So you are you're helping out the veterans.
Yeah, I mean he's not alive anymore, but his memory.
His memory. Yeah, sure.
I'm helping his memory.
My cheat meal, which is way too frequent, could be like I like Mexican food.
No,
So, like, believe it or not, yeah. And they there's a place called Qdoba. I don't know if you got it out in your parts of the country. Qdoba, it's kind of like Chipotle. I think it's better than Chipotle. And they just have like massive burrito. I'll get that, and then like the queso and cheese, or then the really bad cheat meal, like when it's been a long day at church and the boys have to go to bed and we haven't had dinner yet. Like it's the Taco Bell that's just down the street.
Oh yeah.
And also get the big burrito from there too. That's a
I love
problem.
Taco Bell. Taco Bell cheat meals are dangerous because they usually happen at 1 o'clock in the morning too.
Yeah.
All right, Israel, thank you for joining us.
Thank
The
you for
entire
having me. This
country
has
of
been,
Israel joined us today,
yep,
and
we're all here. The kingdom.
Travis, thank you for joining us. Robin had to drop
Thank you.
off. I think her internet in the middle of nowhere wasn't working very good. Thank you guys. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. We need likes on our videos. We're doing great. We got great viewership, but we need people to like the video, comment on the video. Let us know who you are, where you're listening from, and if you made it to the end of the episode. If you made it to the end of the episode and you're listening to this, comment below. Let us know where you're listening from. We'd really appreciate it. It helps us get our message out. Talk to you guys next week. Nice, Israel. I love those.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
Goodbye.
All right.